Days of our lives. Philip viciously attacked, Beau's life hangs by a thread, and Xander faces the ultimate reckoning as the days grow longer in Salem and the week of May 19th to 23rd draws near. Days of Our Lives fans should brace for an emotional roller coaster, one that will grip the hearts of viewers, especially longtime fans who've watched these characters grow, suffer, and fight for redemption. In a sweeping wave of tragedy, betrayal, and desperate hope, this upcoming week promises to be one of the most devastating in recent memory. What begins as simmering tension soon explodes into a full-blown nightmare. Philip Kyriakis, Jean-Paul Lavoisier, once the golden heir of the mighty Kyriakis dynasty, is left broken and bloodied after a brutal and mysterious assault. What should have been a triumphant week for the Kyriakis clan instead becomes a desperate scramble to salvage not just one life, but the very thread of hope for Beau Brady, who remains in critical condition. And at the center of it all? Xander Kyriakis, Paul Telfer, whose ambition and mistakes may have finally gone too far. Philip's fatal mistake, and the shocking fallout. It all begins with a seemingly standard business move. Xander, always eager to prove himself and step out of the shadows of his wealthier, more respected relatives, sets his sights on buying the Salem Hospital. This is no ordinary acquisition, it's a chance for redemption, power, and perhaps a legacy far more noble than his criminal past. But Philip, hot-headed and impulsive, derails the deal. Whether out of jealousy, personal vendetta, or a desperate need for control, he sabotages the entire plan. But that's not the worst of it. Hidden within the corridors of the hospital, and known only to a few, are the Versavix vials. These fragile containers hold experimental medication, a last-ditch effort to treat Beau Brady's worsening sepsis. The vials are rare, the formulation untested, but they represent the only glimmer of hope for Beau's survival. Transported by the ever-loyal Kevin Lambert, Chadwick Hobson, these vials were to be safely secured, until chaos erupts. In a moment of sheer violence, Philip is attacked. Brutally. Mercilessly. The scene is nightmarish, glass shattered, blood staining the floor, and the Versavix vials reduced to worthless fragments. The cure for Beau is gone. Irretrievably gone. Philip is rushed to the hospital, barely clinging to life. Beau's fading light, and the wounds left behind back in the Brady household, Hope, Christian Alfonso, can feel her husband's soul slipping away. The sepsis has spread rapidly. The doctors offer little optimism now. Without the Versavix compound, all known treatments have failed. The quiet beeping of machines, once hopeful, now feel like a ticking clock counting down Beau's final hours. In a haunting and poignant moment, Hope finds herself alone, staring at a framed photo from their 40th wedding anniversary. Her tears fall freely as she clutches it close. She whispers to Beau, not the man in the bed, but the man in her heart, urging him to come back, to fight, to defy death as he has so many times before. Meanwhile, Julie Williams, Susan Seaforth Hayes, is seen in the Kyriakis chapel, lighting a candle for Beau. She looks upward, as if seeking the presence of her late husband, Doug. In a moment of heartfelt prayer, she begs Doug to help Beau cross back over, not into death, but into life. She pleads for a miracle, for guidance, for strength to endure what feels inevitable. Is Xander guilty, or just a convenient scapegoat? As Salem reels from the attack on Philip and the loss of the vials, fingers begin pointing, and they point directly at Xander. After all, Xander had motive. Rage, business sabotage, and a shattered dream all provide compelling reasons for him to retaliate. His past is checkered, his temper infamous. Could this be the moment Xander finally snapped? Sarah Horton Kyriakis, Lindsay Godfrey, ever the voice of reason and emotional anchor in Xander's life, doesn't know what to believe. She confronts him, questioning his every move. Did you do this, Xander? Tell me you didn't, please, she pleads. But Xander's silence, his haunted eyes, and his inability to offer a straight answer only deepen her doubts. Behind the scenes, however, another shadow lurks. Doug Williams III, Peyton Meyer, a name not spoken often but whispered in fearful tones, may be the key to unraveling this mystery. Doug has ties to dangerous criminals. He's been beaten before for unpaid debts and poor decisions. Recently, he found temporary refuge in the Kiriakis' mansion. Philip took pity on him, gave him shelter, and possibly involved himself in matters he didn't fully understand. Was Philip attacked by those hunting Doug? Was this retribution meant for someone else? If so, then Xander may be innocent. But proving it may come too late. No turning back this week on Days of Our Lives, the consequences are irreversible. Philip lies in critical condition. Bo is slipping away. And the fragile trust within the Kiriakis family fractures further with every passing hour. Xander, whether guilty or not, must face the weight of responsibility, for the failed hospital deal, for the broken vials, and for every life that now hangs in the balance. Next, are Tate and Sophia rethinking adoption? A medical crisis could change everything on Days of Our Lives. Just when Days of Our Lives viewers thought they had a grasp on the direction of the teenage pregnancy storyline involving Tate Black and Sophia Choi, the writers have thrown us an emotional curveball that's got everyone talking. With only weeks to go until the baby's due date, complications in Sophia's pregnancy have not only brought unexpected drama, but they've also reignited questions about whether these two young parents are truly ready to give their baby up for adoption. And judging by recent episodes, the answer might be changing right before our eyes. A pregnancy complication that changed the game in classic soap opera fashion. The storyline took a heart-wrenching turn when Sophia developed high blood pressure, a condition serious enough to leave her bedridden for the remainder of her pregnancy. This isn't just a minor setback. It's a potentially dangerous situation for both mother and child, and it's forced everyone around Sophia to reassess what truly matters. But the person who's been most affected? Tate Black. Once depicted as a rebellious teen still finding his footing in the world, Tate is showing a more vulnerable, compassionate side, especially when it comes to Sophia and their unborn baby. Viewers have watched in awe as he's quietly become her primary support system, staying by her bedside, encouraging her through doctor's visits, and, perhaps most notably, sharing deeply emotional moments that suggest a bond much stronger than they've let on. One touch, one kick, one powerful moment. The emotional peak came during a recent episode that left fans breathless. As Tate placed his hand gently on Sophia's belly, they both felt their baby kick. An intimate, almost sacred moment that completely shattered their once firm resolve to pursue adoption. The room fell silent. The look they exchanged, filled with awe, fear, love, and uncertainty, spoke volumes. For a split second, we weren't watching two teenagers trying to figure things out. We were watching two people who might be falling in love, not just with each other, but with the tiny life they created. It was the kind of moment Days of Our Lives excels at. Deeply human, charged with emotion, and ripe with the potential to change everything. The power of soap opera storytelling. If you've been watching soaps for any length of time, you know that a medical crisis is one of the most powerful tools in a writer's arsenal. It strips away distractions, exposes true feelings, and forces characters to confront what really matters. And in this case, that means Tate and Sophia may no longer be on the same page about adoption. For months, their decision to place the baby with adoptive parents was painted as a mature, responsible choice. And to be fair, it was. Teen parenting is never easy, and for two young people still figuring out who they are, choosing adoption felt like the right thing to do. But right doesn't always mean easy, or permanent. A shift in the wind? With Johnny and Chanel now out of the picture as potential adoptive parents, for reasons the show is sure to explore in coming episodes. The pressure is off. And the combination of that pressure lifting and the emotional roller coaster of Sophia's condition seems to be nudging both her and Tate toward a new possibility, keeping the baby and raising it themselves. It's a daunting idea. Parenting isn't just about love, it's about stability, support, sacrifice. But in recent scenes, we've seen hints that both of these teens are beginning to believe they might be up to the challenge. Sophia, once so sure that she couldn't be a mother at this age, now gazes at her baby bump with a quiet wonder. And Tate, who's been showing up for her in ways no one expected, is starting to see himself not just as a father, but as a protector and partner. What's next? We don't know for sure what the writers have in store, but one thing's certain. This storyline is far from over, and fans should buckle up for more twists and turns. Will Tate and Sophia decide to keep their child? Will their deepening connection withstand the pressures of young parenthood? And will the looming medical risks play a larger role in their final decision? Only time will tell, but one thing's clear: Days of Our Lives is delivering one of its most emotional, high-stakes storylines in recent memory. For viewers who have been there since the days of Marlena's Possessions and Bo and Hope's epic romances, this is a storyline that hits home, not just because of the drama, but because of the heart. Whether you're rooting for Tate and Sophia to keep the baby or still believe adoption is the best path, one thing is undeniable: this is soap storytelling at its finest, raw, unpredictable, and brimming with humanity. Stay tuned, Salem fans. The baby may not be here yet, but the emotional payoff is already in full swing.